All right, let's go. I
Mhm.
believe we are live. And that just means that the camera is on because, yeah, the camera's on because I'm not sharing the screen yet. It does say an error has occurred. Please try again later, but it might be because there's a 60-second delay. I don't know if it matters, the 60-second delay, but I have one. Let's put it that way. Um, and I did that because I don't trust it. Like I need to be able to just stop the stream if I share something I shouldn't have. But I don't know how it all works. So someday I'll learn. But this is the first stream. Actually, I've done streaming before, but it was for my glass art, teaching the glass art. Um,
Oh, yeah.
I know you know, the audience doesn't necessarily know that I'm a famous glass artist, but I know you know it. But anyway, one of the things that I should get used to doing is doing stuff in a private browser. But for some of this stuff, like I don't want to do a private browser because like Excalidraw, for instance, I want to be able to show or save rather in the memory what's actually going on. So yeah, we'll go with some Excalibur stuff. So I'll pull some stuff here just so that we have some text to work with. Um, and yeah, for this, we don't need to see. It does say an error occurred. Please try again later. Playback. Can you look at the stream itself? Let's see what's going on here. If I go enable preview, I can see me. Learn more.
From
Um,
what account were you streaming, by the way?
curated leads YouTube. Curate.
Created leads. Okay.
Let me see if I can find you. Here, I just Googled it. Camera. It does say live. It has the thumbnail. One of the things that I should get used to doing is doing stuff. It's working fine. The preview I can't see for some reason, but the video is working. It's just me talking. Big surprise. But anyway,
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
okay, let's just get into it because now I'm sharing my webcam, and all we really have is Excalidraw. Okay. And actually, now that I say that, I realize I need to set more stuff up before I share this. Although I can set it up on the left-hand side. So let's do that. Um, right now, I don't think. Oh yeah, okay, cool. So I will just leave this here for now,
Mm.
as a preview of what it's going to start to look like. And let's pick an SEO'd folder and pick a content. Now, I haven't decided yet what page I should do. Part of me says to do the money pages, but then another part of me says to do something that we haven't worked on yet. So let's do, Lorraine, what ones have you been doing? Have you been doing the top level of the categories?
Yeah, yeah.
So you
You
did
top level.
problems or warning signs?
Uh-huh.
Warning signs.
Yeah, at the moment.
But
Warning signs.
you didn't do like any of the sub pages of warning signs like
The
structural or
layout?
smells or
Mm,
something like that, right?
not yet, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I will pick one of those.
Alright.
Visible, smells, structural, signs of pests. Okay, we'll do the pests one. So I'm pulling this over here to show you that we have SEO content. Like, so we wrote this content and then we SEO optimized it. And this is the starting point. And, I will go through the whole process of writing the content, SEO optimizing the content in other streams and other videos. But for today's example or what we're working on today, we have already done the writing and we've already done the SEO optimization of the writing. And it's a process to get to this point. But long story short, if you look for warning signs of pests in the crawl space, soon we're going to be the ones to rank for it. Let's put it that way. This page is going to rank, and it'll rank pretty well. Now, is that going to bring us traffic that gets us customers? Not necessarily, but it shows Google that we're experts on the topic when it comes to ranking for the pages that do make us money, our money keywords. So that's the theory behind what's going on here. And actually, a previous employee did the SEO of this, so this might need some attention. Let's pick another one instead of this one. One that I did, I know that I've done myself, so that I can feel comfortable or confident that it doesn't need to be redone. Crawl space solutions, SEO. No, that's all like that. Problems, warning signs. All the subpages were done by Micah, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, that might mean that I will just do this other thing then, which actually will make your life a lot easier too. So you've been working on warning signs, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna do problems. Okay, I will do
Okay.
problems. Now, as usual, Lorraine, I'm probably gonna drive you crazy with some of this stuff where like you will see I will like change the rules midstream of like, for instance, I'm already wondering or doubting that I'm going to use a contact form up here because like how I open this video is saying these pages are not for generating leads. Will they generate some leads? Yeah, maybe, but that's not their core purpose. And when it comes to doing this stuff, you really want to lead with the core purpose. You want to say, what's the purpose of this page? And in this situation, we're talking about problems, right? So we're identifying problems. And this is, again, it's like for people who are problem aware, they know something's wrong, and we want to help them understand what's wrong, right? And this page, as you know, Lorraine, this page is a
Mm-hmm.
doorway. This page is a gateway into deeper content. We've got, and I'm going to actually do a screenshot here so I can show. Actually, turns out I was wrong also. So this is so funny. But this is typically how I work anyway. So I will do one of the subpages. This is the only one that I personally did the SEO on. I just found it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we have structural problems. But this is the same situation where we're thinking about the purpose, and the purpose of this page is to help people identify specific subset of problems. These are problems that are of the structural nature. And so if you look at this, you will see, okay, we're giving them a breakdown on from like a high level, from a bird's eye view of what the structural problems are, what they look like, what they can expect to be dealing with. And so it's generally going to be the things that impact the structure is going to be standing water, wood rot, failure of floor joists, the floors sagging, literal damage from like termites or pests, and then what we're calling differential settlement, where basically like the foundation is moving. It's just not where it should be. And like it says, it takes time for something like that to happen. So this is not a doorway. Actually, it sort of is because each one of these pages can be, or each one of these subjects can be its own page. Right now, we haven't gone to that extent of creating that content, but it will eventually probably be more pages that we create. A page for understanding the problem that exists of standing water and how that impacts the structure of your house and how that relates to your crawl space, etc. This could be its own whole page, but here we just give it one paragraph or like a little snapshot.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the future, we may have the page for that, and this will act as a gateway into that. But this page has merit on its own, just like the crawl space problems page has merit, but it will link you or locate you to the structural problems page. So this page is a gateway into these four next pages, and this is one of those four pages. So when you understand that from a architectural standpoint, understanding how the architecture of the website works, this is, it helps you understand how to lay this page out. How? Why do I say that? Well, it's because we have to start with the purpose when it comes to laying something out. Think about like laying out furniture in a bedroom. It's going to be totally different from a kitchen versus a dining room versus a living room. And it's because of what you do with those spaces, in those
Mhm.
spaces. And
Mhm.
so this page is primarily going to help people understand structural problems and like how they're affecting the crawl space, why they're in the crawl space, all these kind of things. That's what we have to keep in mind when we put this page together. Now, the next best thing you can do, once you understand how this piece fits into the website design, the next thing you really want to do is understand the page itself. So you want to read the content, you want to get a connection, a feeling with the content, because this is where you start to visualize how does the page get laid out. Okay, so like really, like you want to start from like way zoomed out, top down here at this point. Let me go like this. Okay, because like if this is the website, or if this is the web page rather, we're going to need to understand like what what goes where, how it works. So we've got an introduction and you've got the H1. And if you don't know how SEO hierarchy works, you're going to have a tough time laying the page out. But the H1 is like the visual page title. It's what the user sees as the title. And so this is going to be like the biggest thing, no matter what. Even if it's not the biggest thing visually, it's letting us in on what's this page all about, right?
Yep.
And so I can start by simply, what's going on? Oh, I'll pass these low. I can start by simply, getting a feel for this layout. Now, of course, we're not at 100% here. We really, this is, this is more like how it's going to be. Like this is the size that you actually want to be looking at. So if I go here and this is this, then this is fine. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put this. And now we've got the H1 to some degree. And I don't, like working. I'm not going to worry too much about the colors. I'm just, at first, I'm going to try to get an idea of the hierarchy of the content. So like just visually, what am I looking at? What am I looking for? What am I working with? Because again, this is an introduction to the page. This is probably like the closest thing to like a real summary of the page. So this is like your foot in the door. And then this is like really getting the lay of the land. That's generally how you're hoping that the content is going to be laid out. Because, and Lorraine, I know you know this, when I talk about making a presentation, right? I would say,
Yeah.
for instance, like, like the golden rule of presenting information is tell people what you're going to tell them the thing, and then summarize, tell them what you told them. And so the content should almost always work that same way. You're going to get a peek into it, then you break it down, and then you like give them something to walk away with. Okay, so it's like a conclusion, the
Yeah.
body, the introduction. That's simply what's going on here. And so if you think about that when it comes to the content itself, well, you shouldn't have too much in the way of problems. Let's go to large here. And then this is going to be this. All right, Hey, you know me, I like to visually break this stuff out so that it's easy to scan because that's one of the most valuable things that you can do in SEO or like in website layout is make it easy to read.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So immediately we have a hierarchy that's easy to absorb as the introduction, right? You've got the header and we've got the introductory paragraph, let's say. Crossway structural problems in central Illinois usually don't announce themselves. So we've got the leading keyword from SEO is good. This, and you'll see as I'm doing this, I'm reading the content and I'm like putting myself in the shoes of two people, the person that wrote it and the person that's going to read it. And there's a
Mhm.
reason for both because one, the person that wrote it, there's probably some hierarchy structure. There's a shape of it that they're looking to impart. And then the reader, I want to make that shape that the writer created easily recognizable by the reader. And so you'll see what I mean when I see this. Because this is its own thought or statement. Then
Mhm.
this is its own thought or statement. You felt it before you went looking for answers. Then we build a list. You felt it. Well, what's it? A soft spot, a bounce, a door that sticks. And then you go back to a new separate thought. It wasn't just made up. You didn't imagine it. Something is failing and it's been happening. So this is your introduction to the page. What are we talking about? Crawl space structural problems. What's the caveat or like what are we what's the takeaway that we're hoping they get is that they understand what's failing under their house. That by the time they're done reading this page, this what they felt and what they were curious about shouldn't be a doubt anymore. It should be confirmed. It should be clear. Does that make sense just from seeing the introduction?
Yeah.
Now, because of that, that lays the foundation for how the page should get laid out. Everything that we do in this page should make it easy for them to walk away feeling like this got paid off, that they
Mhm.
know how to identify what's failing under their house when it comes to structural problems in their crawl space. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, cool. So we've got what's going to end up being the hero section, right?
Mhm.
And now, even if I didn't show you the rest of the content, you could start imagining how to break it down. That's the beauty of this. At least I can. I can see, like, okay, we want to make them understand where the soft spots in the floor come from. Make them understand why might a floor be bouncy. Make them understand why do doors start sticking, right?
Mhm.
And how not just understand why, but give them the tools in order to confirm what it is, how bad it is, etc. That's what the rest of this page should do if you just look at that introductory paragraph. Okay? Now,
Okay.
H2, what's happening? All right. So we can just, no, we can copy this and I can use this. What's actually happening? Now, I, I'm just breezing through this because this is the absolute basic starting point, right? We're going to go way deeper once we get this stuff kind of just sketched out. But we're starting, you know what I talk about all the time, Lorraine, mise en place, right?
Yeah.
I talk about getting everything in its place so that there's no doubt of what's going on before you get into it.
Mhm.
So That's what I'm doing. Some of the tools that I have to work with, or some of the ingredients that I have to work with here, is the text. And that's basically all I have right now. So I'm trying to get to, oh, well, there's got to be an easier way to do. I'm trying to get to a point where, yeah, maybe if I go like this. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to get to a point where we have all of the tools that we need.
Mhm.
Sometimes these sentences get way too long.
Yeah,
But
it
this one's not
does.
so bad. Okay. Um, it's not so bad if we go like this. And so again, you can see like I am gathering and organizing the content based on ideas. And a sentence is supposed to be like its own whole idea. So again, I'm going to read it, I'm going to look at it, and it's going to help me to visualize or understand how to deal with this section. But already we've got the intro and the summary, let's say,
Mhm.
uh, laid out, which is good. In Central Illinois, moisture isn't a freak event, it's a condition. That's one thought. The ground here is flat and heavy with clay. Water doesn't drain away from the foundation, it sits against it. Summers are humid enough to push moisture up to the soil. Winters freeze and thaw and shift things. And if your home was built between these times, that would have been living in a damp environment for decades. What we find when we get into crawl spaces around here isn't a surprise problem, it's a slow one. And slow problems are the ones that do the most damage before anyone realizes what happened. So, the beauty of this content, Lorraine, is that it paints a mental picture. There's so many things that are like screaming at us here that we can use and do, right?
Mhm.
And so, like, I'm gonna just quickly pull out the pen and I will highlight them. That's not what pen, yellow, orange, whatever you want to call it. We will highlight them. So, Central Illinois. This is okay. Really? That's large too. In Central Illinois, this is a potential visual. I guess maybe I need to go like this. No stroke. No stroke. Okay, it doesn't work like that. I'm trying to highlight, I guess I'll just underline it. Central Illinois, now we got a visual of the location. Moisture is a condition. So these two things link together. So you could show moisture in Central Illinois. So maybe like you have a raining photo of somewhere that's obvious from one of our main service areas, right? One of these
Yeah.
places. The ground is flat and heavy with clay. And so that again, the ground is flat and heavy with clay. These are all visual cues. Water doesn't drain away from your foundation, it sits against it. Again, like this content is beautifully painting a picture. And so I know what visuals I would want to use here. You can show summer and then winter. And so this is somewhere where I might have the same stuff, the clay in the summer, the clay in the winter, right? And show a
Mhm.
comparison. And now, if your home was built between 1940 and 1970, I might show the popular homes in those decades 40, 50, 60, 70. It's easy enough to go to ChatGPT or Google and say, what was the most common home type in Central Illinois in 1940, 50, 60, 70, and show all those. And when someone sees those houses, they're going to immediately have a connection with their own property if they have a house that was built in that time, because it's going to look a lot like their house.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? So the
Yeah.
answers are in the content. Uh, the Thomas Martino wood has been living in a damp environment for decades. Okay, again, damp environment, wood, over time. So these are more visual cues. and then slow. So that's going to show time, right? That's another visual you can use as time. Slow problems do the most damage before anyone realizes what's happening. And so you could do, again, something that shows damage over time. Okay? Or like, for me, it's just painting pictures in my mind. And that's so funny because I don't consider myself a visual person. So for me to say that, like, I'm not a visual thinker or anything. And for me to say, like, okay, this is painting a picture, I just find that so interesting. So we're going to use this and we're going to go here. First of all, I'm going to zoom out because I want to see, do I need to be moving to a new section? I'm going to say, yeah, let's just move because there's not a huge amount of content on this page. And
Mhm.
so this is its own whole section, is the 6 structural problems. So I'm going to just treat it as its own whole thing. Okay. I'm not necessarily going to shorten this, but it doesn't really matter. We can adjust the size of the boxes later. The boxes are just something to stay organized in. Lorraine, treat this as a pull quote highlight. That's funny. Did I do that? I must have done that because I did this page.
Yeah.
These are 6 separate issues for one failure system. Okay, I have this as extra large, put it in bold. There's no bold. Okay, whatever. Each one feeds the next. Okay. Okay. H3 standing water. Now, this is immediately where I'm seeing potential like tabs. Okay. But I don't want to
Mhm.
get there quite yet because I don't want to jump out of order. I want to just get the stuff on the page, but it's okay to start making notes, even if they're just mental notes. Okay. To say, okay,
Mhm.
this is how I expect I'm going to deal with this issue when the time comes. Standing water. Oh, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I just need 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Footer out. One, choice. Failure. Sagging. Doors. Termite damage. Differential setup. Okay, excellent. So now we've got 6 topics. Okay. And each
Mhm.
one of these is going to deserve its own specific attention. Now, in truth, if we just put the content here, that's what like most of our competitors would do, right? So if I go and let's do like this, left align. Now, this is obviously too much content for this section, but that's just because I'm laying it out visually. So if I go like this, very good. I go like that. And a lot of our competitors would just do this and they might put a picture next to it and it's done. But you know, I'm not satisfied with just doing that.
Mhm.
We're trying to not just make it look good, we're trying to make it so that the user walks away being able to identify and assess and feel confident that they can understand what's causing the structural problems, how it connects to their house falling apart, right?
Mhm.
So while we're designing this, or when we're designing this, we want to keep that in mind. But for now, we're just getting the content on the page. But again, like I say, when we do this, it's giving us time to look at it and think about it. So I'll just go like this and get this stuff on. Not the most exciting part of the job, but it's here, right? So just bang it out. What am I thinking when it comes to this stuff? Well, I'm thinking, like I said, it's going to probably be tabs. We're going to do some
Mhm.
kind of tab thing where at first they're going to see what I'm visualizing is some sort of preview where the tab has like a limited amount of information and it's just enough that when they look at it, they get what they want. But if they want more detail, then they can like click on the tab and expand the tab and they'll see even more
Oh,
where they'll get everything. And so I just personally think that's going to serve the scannability desire
mhm.
as
Yeah.
well as get all of the content in there that it needs to be there. That's why we wrote the content because it's appropriate for what needs to be on the page. Um, and again, it allows the person who is not satisfied by just getting a little bit of detail while satisfying the person who is just quickly looking.
Mhm.
And that's the idea is we need to satisfy all the visitors, all the people, all the intents that show up on the page. Okay.
Mhm.
When we get this stuff laid out, when we just look at it, what we're doing is we're really getting the closer feel for the problem, right? We're like, and that's the same as mise en place. We're basically saying, this is my situation. We're being honest about facing the situation. It gives us, like, look, this is a lot of content. It's not a ton, but it's like, it's a wall of text. And
Yeah.
yet, when you look at it, if you like actually go and dig into this, again, there's some real powerful visuals in here. We're saying the problem starts here because it says, look, standing water, the problem starts here. So if you see standing water in your crawl space, you probably at the beginning of a problem, or maybe you've had a problem for a long time. But either way, like that's not a good sign. You don't want to see that. It's going to lead to structural problems, and structural problems are a serious risk for your house. So it doesn't take much rain to end up with water sitting on your crawl space floor. Water that sits does damage. So this is setting the foundation. And then as you go, like these are much more, a little bit of water doesn't seem so scary, but rotting wood in the bottom of your house is scary. The joists, the things that hold up your floor, is scary. Sagging floors doesn't seem so bad. Termite damage could be very bad. Differential settlement is kind of like 50-50. I think if it's not too bad, it doesn't seem like a big deal. But if it's there, it's a sign of a bigger problem. Now, one thing I might do because of this is maybe reorganize this stuff because I don't think the order necessarily plays a huge role. But like
Mhm.
some of this stuff from like an SEO perspective, but some of this stuff is like much more high risk, right? So like these, like you might say like these are dangerous and like they need to be featured more. But I don't want to min-max it too much. If we just get this stuff easy to scan and make it so that people can walk away feeling like they got it figured out, then we did our job. So why it doesn't fix itself, and then we've got our content. So since this is not broken up the same way the other one is, like it's not broken up into sections, I'm treating it as more text that needs to be scanned easily. Okay? Like
Mhm.
the fact that the previous section is organized into subsections, it makes it naturally scannable. But this section is not naturally scannable because it's a big chunk of text. And this one's going to be the same problem. And that's when you'll see me break it up into just like single sections because it's easy to scan. The conditions that cause this don't go away. So these basically it's listing conditions after that. And so that's why I would group these together. You'll see here the conditions that cause this don't go away. Right?
Yep.
So that's why I grouped these three together. These are basically like bullet points, if you think about it. They're not because they're like full sentences, but in a hierarchy sense, you can treat these as bullet points. Structural failure in a crawl space doesn't stabilize it on its own. It continues. The longer it goes without being addressed, the more expensive and complicated the solution becomes. That's not just a sales pitch. It's what we've seen. You may not be ready to call anyone yet, but that's fine. But knowing what you're looking at, and actually again, like because of the way that the nature of how this sentence works, I even want to break this down. Knowing what you're looking at and what it becomes if it keeps going is worth something on its own. For me, this whole section deserves to be treated more like this. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like,
It's like a pull code or something.
it's just that it's like a sort of like a call to action or like a reality check.
Oh.
Yes, a pull quote, sure, but it's less that it's a pull quote and it's more like the emotional weight of this. Because if you think about it, right, if we go back to the beginning and what we said from the beginning is that the purpose of this page is to help people be able to understand the structural problems in their house, how their crawl space is affecting that, etc. Well,
Mhm.
if they went through all this, they scanned all this, or they read all this, and then they get here, this is the payoff. It says, we're not telling you have to call anybody, but the whole point of this page is so that you know what you're looking at. And if you have it, if you keep letting it going, it's a big risk.
Mhm. Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Knowing what you're looking at and what it becomes if it keeps going is worth something on its own. Like if you got this far and you understand, you've already benefited because you realize your house is at risk if you don't deal with this problem.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Even if it's like this, but I actually like it better like this because I think it deserves the attention. And so even still, we could treat, there's another sentence in here that kind of twists the knife or like, um, deserves the same amount of attention. And that's where I will do something like this. Okay, I'm gonna just cut this out. This is making it impossible to lay this stuff out. Okay. Like for me, this text is speaking directly to the reader. Okay. This is like informing the visitor, but this is like having a conversation with them. This is where I really want to get their attention. You know
Oh
how like
yeah.
sometimes Lorraine, I will like stop you when I'm teaching you something and I will like sit you down and check in with you and I'm like, okay, do you understand? Can you put this in your own words? can you tell me why this matters? That's this part of the page.
Oh, yeah, I can see what you mean.
It's like all this stuff is saying like, hey, if you have a problem, you have a real problem. And then it comes to like, this is the consequence of not dealing with it.
Hmm.
You get it?
Yeah.
Okay. And that to me is especially important if you realize you have a problem. Once you realize you have a problem, you have to face the fact that you need to deal with the problem. That's really what this is coming down to. It's like, hey, don't let this get worse because if you do, the problem's going to become a catastrophe. Let's put it that way. Right now, it's just
Hmm.
an annoying thing that's scary, but later it could be a disaster.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, sure, whatever, David. Okay, so what we find when we inspect crawl spaces in this region. Now, this is like a personal stuff that's um, for like a local relevance. And you can start to see how the content organizes itself. And again, I'm thinking about scannability. Okay, so this is its own situation. And to me, that means we need page. And we'll just move this stuff for the ease of making a nice clean layout. Because again, this is like a bit of a wall of text here. So we'll deal with the separately. And then what's left? Call to action. So schedule free crawls based inspection, call to action. All this, doing it like this, Lorraine, it gave us two things. One, it got us to like actually look at the content.
Hmm.
And two, it just gave us a simple layout of the page contents. Okay, I'm taking this off because that doesn't look good. Now we've got the content of the page. Now we can go like this, but we don't need to because the next things we're going to do is actually turn this into visual layout. Okay, right now we've got all the ingredients out. Let's say we just unloaded the groceries and we can, it's like I talk about all the time where it's like, okay, we've got milk, we've got eggs, we've got flour, we've got sugar. What do you think we're making?
Right.
Sure, but it could also be muffins, cookies, scones, biscuits, macarons. There's so many things that you can make with that,
Yeah.
right? And so the beauty of it is we have that freedom. But the thing is, now we have to say, well, who are we serving? What do they like? What are they looking for? And that's where the picture all comes together. So even if all you did was lay out the page like this and throw some pictures in, you've already got a better layout than most companies, most competitors, because the content is organized by ideas and like hierarchy, right? So I feel like we kind of just breezed through this one. What we find when we inspect crawl spaces. Jeff and Chris have been resolving problems. A lot of what they're getting into is 50s and 60s. The damage they find isn't random, it follows the same pattern. And so I broke this down. Wet wood, standing water, beams. When we come to your home, we don't just jump straight into the crawl space, we sit down. So this is talking about the process. Then we do a full inspection, every corner, every joist, every place. We tell you exactly what we found, no pressure. So again, there's so many visual opportunities here, right?
Yeah.
Jeff is looking at in a corner. Jeff is looking at a joist. Jeff is looking at places where water gets in. Okay? This right here, I'm visualizing how do we break this down? How do we handle this visually? Okay? It follows the same pattern house after house. Wet wood that's been standing water, beams carrying less load. So again, every one of these, I'm seeing an opportunity to just let's go with this. Stroke, background. Okay, cool. Fill. Sure. Sure, 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 sure. Sure. So, wet wood. Stand. Come on. Standing water. Beams. Right? Or same thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Every corner. Every joist. Every place water's getting in. Um, Same thing here. Houses built in the 1950s and 60s. You don't have to do that. I think like these is where the visuals really matter. Because again, what's the purpose of this page? Is showing the structural problems. So that's what all the graphics should really be about, is the structural problems. But showing the inspection, I think, is valuable because it's not just about identifying the problems, but it's about understanding the problems and how they get dealt with. And one of the ways is by us coming out and inspecting the property. That's how you really get there, is
Mm-hmm.
having a professional agree or like identify or confirm, let's say. Because when you come to this page, you're wondering, do I really have structural problems? And then when you get to the end of this page, you're thinking, okay, I probably do have structural. I'm almost positive that I do. And the way I can stop worrying about it is to get a professional in, have them look at it, and tell me what's the next step.
Mm-hmm.
You with me?
Yeah.
Okay, and so like, okay, before we do stuff, I'm going to make it as clear as possible. What's the principles behind what we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So tell me,
Yeah.
Lorraine, after all this, I don't know how long it's been, what are your takeaways so far? How is what I just showed you different from how you've been
What I've
approaching
been
it?
doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I always treat each sections. I mean, when working on the outline or the layout, I always do it section by section.
Uh-huh.
But what you did here is that you did mise en place first, like you broke out all of the sentences. So we have all the ingredients before doing the visual layout. So you did the text first. So yeah, the way I treated these whole layout thing is just work on it section by section. I haven't been really reading. I mean, I read the content, of course, to break it down, but I didn't look at it as a whole picture.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah, I
it's
think
so
that's the
funny to me
problem.
because I'm always talking to you about like the value of the bird's eye view, right?
Yeah.
And the bird's eye view is all about like taking in the whole situation, the whole circumstance before you go and take action.
Yeah.
Because it's just a healthier way to do it. It's so easy to get wrapped up in the details. And for me, it's just like that's a rushing approach when you don't take the time to look at the big picture. Because
Yeah.
it's like an addiction, a compulsion to get right to work. But we talk about sharpening your axe before you go swinging it. And this to me is one of the ways of sharpening your axe. It's just about preparedness,
Mm.
right? And so we started by preparing the content for design, for layout. And again, if all you did was this, and you gave this to Mac, and you explained to Mac, that's our designer, what, like, why these things are laid out, and the fact that this stuff, it makes sense to put graphics for these. This stuff, it makes sense to do graphics for these. Or like even here, there's another one, right? Is this four? Four. What you've been noticing, what you're worried about, what you're hoping to find out. Again, you could just take this. We want to understand. This becomes a heading. Not a
Mhm.
heading, but it's its own text, right? And
Mhm.
then these things get broken up like this with the icons. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
This here plus the icon, what you've been noticing, what you're worried about, what you're hoping to find out. That's what we do when we sit down with you. When we sit down first, that's what we're trying to handle.
But I think it's too much better if it's a checklist.
Lorraine, that's not
Mhm.
the point. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that was not the time for that. When we get to this part, sure, absolutely. But we're still in the bird's eye view of conceptually talking about the layout. We're not actually tweaking this layout right now.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And listen, that's a perfectly fine suggestion, and it's a good one, right?
Mhm.
Lorraine says checklist for these three. And this is part of why you're the layout designer, right? Because you have an opinion. And I'm glad that you do. But I'm trying to teach you how to think about it. I'm the strategist,
Yeah.
I'm the
Whereas
director,
I got
right?
distracted.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I love it. You know, I appreciate it. So now we can actually get into section by section dealing with it. We can quickly review again and see, okay, what are we dealing with? How do we want to deal with it? But to be honest, I think we've got enough, okay?
Mhm.
Because, okay, up here we'll just say this is the navigation, right? So we don't have to concern ourselves with this, but it's already going to be there. So it doesn't really matter, but we'll just put that there to say that's the navigation. This is the header. Cross-site structural problems. What's failing under your home? Now, these things don't announce themselves. You felt it. You went looking for answers. A soft spot, a bounce, maybe a door. You didn't imagine it. Something underneath your home is failing, and it's been happening for a while. Now, we've got two options here, and personally, I think we want to we want to put a visual of the homeowner here inspecting the thing. Or we want to put Jeff pointing out a real problem. So like for me, that's probably the easy one that we like don't have to fake. And the ideal photo here is gonna be like Jeff poking a hole in rotten wood in someone's crawl space. Okay?
Mhm.
Why do I say that?
Because it's appropriate to the context
Right. It's
of
a
the.
structural problem and it's something that's failing under their home, and it's Jeff.
Uh-huh.
Right? So we get EEAT from that because we have expertise. We have trust. It's Jeff. We have authority. He's pointing something out. We have experience. He's literally showing that this is his job. You get the point. This is like
Yeah.
perfect EEAT content to put right here. And for me, that's a hero section, right? That's great.
I have a question,
Yeah.
David. So, on the heroes section, it doesn't necessarily need to be a form on that area. Because
And this is
on
how
the
I started
previous,
the call, where I'm like, hey, I'm going to challenge some stuff right now. The reason that this is not a form is because this page isn't primarily for generating leads.
uh huh.
This page is primarily for educating the customer,
Oh yeah, yeah, I got what you mean.
right? And
Yeah,
so there's gonna be plenty of CTAs. We've got the phone number here. We've got the click off, like fill out a form here in
yeah.
the header, right?
Hmm.
But like on the money pages, absolutely, I want a form there because a lot of people are coming there just to request a quote. So we want to bring the friction down between them and requesting the quote.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But here, no, we don't need to. And ultimately, in the future, we might put a video there. But I think the video might come here. But we'll get there next. Okay, and we can figure
Okay,
out do we want to put a video in? Where do we want to put the video in? We'll handle that on its own. But
okay.
what's happening in the Central Illinois crawl spaces? In Central Illinois, moisture isn't a freak event, it's a condition. Okay? The ground here is flat and heavy with clay. Water doesn't drain away from the foundation, it sits against it. Now, summers are humid enough to. I'm trying to visualize this section. And do we want it to just be text? Like primarily? We'll see. Um, Summers are humid enough to push moisture up through the soil and the wood into in through the soil and into the wood framing under your floors. Winters freeze and thaw and shift things. If your home was built between 1940 and 1970, yeah, let's just make a bunch of visuals, right? Because one of the things I'm thinking about are one of the things I'm thinking about is, oh, do I have to be logged in?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm sure it's fine.
Mm.
Thankfully, God has changed my life that I don't have anything to hide on the computer. But putting all this stuff online could put somebody's account at risk or something like that. I don't want to worry about any of that.
Yeah.
But life goes on. So what we'll do is we'll stage over here on the left-hand monitor. I'll bring it over there. So what am I
Mhm.
looking for? I'm looking for, yeah, like award-winning website layouts. And I'm looking for magazine text visuals layout. I don't know why I'm over there. Okay, so what's my point? Here you go. So you got like examples like this. You've got examples like this and this and this of how to work with text and images in the same space. Right? Here you go. Here's another one. Magazines have been around a lot longer than websites have. And so you have an opportunity to borrow from them, learn from them, study them, and get layout ideas. But you've also got to consider, yeah, sure. You've got to consider the medium itself,
Mhm.
websites, right? So these are okay. This is like just showing website hierarchy. This is a cool one. This is fine. And we want to separate yeah, okay, thanks a lot. We want to separate the content in a way that works. Now, okay, Shade Master. I like to look at these and see if there are any actual contractor examples. The problem is if you go looking for like, um, you know, let's see, award or like best contractor website layout. If you do this, the problem is a lot of these are just backlinks. Like a lot of people are doing this just to get a backlink. And so like Hook Agency, I don't necessarily trust their page here. Um, A lot of times I like to actually go to these websites and look at their websites in real time. But this one, here you go. So you've got a layout and you can see what people are doing. But contractors aren't necessarily very good at this either, so it's not always fair. But we're going to use what we have. We're going to work with what we have. That's all we've got.
Mhm.
Is this going to load? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Long story short, we need to break this down. And you know me, I can go through this stuff all day. In central Illinois, moisture is in the frequent vent. It's a condition that ground hair is flat and heavy. Summers are humid. Winter freezes and thaws things. Now, for me, this is its own whole section. And so, okay. Control Shift. No, no, no. And this is its own whole section. At least, like, from a textual context standpoint, this is its own thing. What's
Mhm.
happened in central Illinois crawl space? So in central Illinois, moisture is a frequent, it's a condition. Gone first. Irish fat and clay. This is not like too much text either. This is like a healthy amount of text. So we could put this here and then just put some images here or an image here. Summers are humid, winters freeze. Now, what do we want to do about it? Flat and heavy with clay. Water doesn't drain away from the foundation. Something even tells me to treat this as its own thing. Remember, the world is our oyster. We can do whatever we want with this. So we can put in extra effort or a little bit of effort. Now, since it's a demonstration, I want to go extra because you learn more from it. You see more opportunities. Ground here is flat and heavy with clay. Water doesn't drain away from the foundation. It sits against it. So we want to see. I did say before too, okay, you got an opportunity here to deal with. And this is like the classical layout. You know me, I'll go left and right. This is the boring layout. So let's start with that. It's the easy one. We're going to show moisture in central Illinois. So one of the things that I'll do, I'm going to pull up ChatGPT and I'm going to say, what are the most popular or famous visual icons in Wilmington, Decatur, Champaign, and Normal, Iowa? What are the most popular or famous visual icons in Bloomington, Decatur, Champaign, and Normal? Immediate, instantly recognizable visuals. Marketing, illustration, or branding. Here's what I'd put. Normal. Okay. Now we could play with love art. Um, so- everything I do, I'm like second guessing. Where should I do this? What do I need to hide? So I'll put that here, downloaded it. I'll pull love art over here. No, thank you. I just been playing with this tool, and you know I'm very impressed with it.
Yeah.
Now, love art, love art. Oh, it's not gonna be fun. Okay, how about this? Yeah. No, that's the right. That's fine. Okay. Split this image diagonally down the middle and show examples of extreme moisture events in summer on one side and winter on the other. Sure, we'll play. let's play a game because we could use that right here. Summers are humid and winters freeze and thaw and shiftings. And people will know, okay, that's normal. That's in our backyard. How interesting. Now there was another one in central Illinois. Ground is flat, heavy with clay. Water doesn't drain away from the foundation. It sits against it. And I'll literally just copy this into here. Now say. And again, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and I'm going to say, oh, look at all my tabs. Where's my ChatGPT? And I close it on. Yeah, I guess so. What were the most common styles of home in Central Illinois, Northern Decatur, Champaign, Normal, in the 40s? How about the 50s, the 60s, the 70s? Okay, it did get a little bit dramatic, but this is still a really cool photo. Can you see it here?
Yeah.
We could use this for sure. And like literally I can just go like this. And I can also put this like we can give this image to Mac. All right. Well, bam. Is this the right answer for this? Not necessarily, but it gives you something. And maybe we can go like this because this is actually pretty thin slice of text. Right? But there you go. We've got this. Central Illinois, 1940s. Post-war minimal tradition. Okay, cool. Now over here I've got houses. This is the style of house that's common. Okay. And
Hmm.
so again, I was able to use dope can and I'll put it on show the foundation. Show the close over of the foundation of a house like this. Say a 10-foot section where you can see the house and the foundation and soil conditions all in one. The ground is flat and heavy with clay. Water doesn't drain away from the foundation. It sits against it. Bam. Cheating. You gotta remember, Lorraine, like 5 years ago, even couldn't do anything like this. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's crazy, like how we can do this right now. But like this is like the easiest possible way to do this. Is just put the text on the left, put the image on the right, put the image on the left, put the text on the right. You already know this tool, but this is like
Mm.
step one, easy one, right? If your home was built between 1940 and 1970, the wood has been living in a damp environment for decades. Now, this is where, for me, I'm going to just put those four types of houses. And so I've got ChatGPT, right? And I will like show it literally. I'll go style one, style two, right? And just grab a picture, put in here. And I might put 1940s, right? 1950s, 1960s, 1970s. Style number two. I actually love this. These houses are so cute. Oh yeah, that's terrible. I love it. That looks so real,
Yeah.
right? Okay, and I want to remember that I have like a kind of horizontal style. That's fine. There you go. So that's appropriate. Also love this house. And we want them to feel like they're driving through their neighborhood. When they see these houses, we want them to feel like they are in their area. The whole point of this is to make it feel and look familiar, you know?
Mm.
Yeah. Now, can Mac do a lot better than that? Yes, but it's a visual aid, right? Yeah.
Mm.
We've now got the top half of the page, or like the introductory section of the page. And what have we done? We've gotten them to show, and I could probably get Jeff poking a hole in rotten wood in someone's crawl space rendered up through this tool just about as well. Now, we're showing the gross moisture. We're showing extreme weather. We're showing the styles of houses that they're likely to live in and see, and associating that with what happened to this one? With the okay, that's how it's supposed to look. With the damage itself. Okay?
Mhm.
Now, this is the section where it actually gets interesting because this is gonna do its best with the tabbed content. Okay? And so, again, we kind of breezed through this part and we can look more closely and see, okay, yeah, we can make the page look all fancy, but that's just like for looking fancy. It doesn't help people understand anything. And still, like if we wanted to go and put this here, right, for instance, and put in our notes, right? So like what I'll do here is I'll go big ugly arrow and I'll put a note. This is the style we're looking for these photos. We want a photo of each decade of home style, 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And you can label them just like these example photos are labeled. Common, you know? 19 homes built in the 40s. Something like that. You understand. And this is just here again. This is as a note for you for when you make the video. This is not everything needs to be taken away from this. This is just an additional note to make it easier when it comes time to explain this stuff.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, 6 structural problems and how they connect. We want to see tap design. So let's not concern ourselves with this for now. Okay, so this what they're doing, and I don't think this was like a award-winning site they were saying. I don't think so. This has a ton of white space. Granted, this is still kind of nice because this is still a style of tab design. And you could see like this works like the category page could work. If you got a ton of white space, if you want to see about patios, you click here and then click here and it brings you to the patio page. Now, this is more tab design. So they actually, I can see why this is considered like award-winning page. It's minimalist. I don't think this is ranking. This is not like SEO'd content. And that's part of the issue is that you have to reconcile those things together. And also, we already lost the connection to the subsection that we had gone to. Because we went to pergolas, I think, patios. But then once we got into patios, we just ended up in generic stuff once we clicked here. When we clicked up here, it just took us out of the veranda section. And I think that is like a design misstep. But let's not plug out over it too much. So tab design website. I know like we struggled to find this in the ways that I was happy with,
Hmm.
but we're gonna try again. We're gonna do it again because it exists. It's not really a big problem. And when we go and look again, when we take the time to look again, we might find something we like even better. Better examples. Because I can already see in my mind's eye kind of what I'm looking for, but it's a lot easier if I have an example to show. There's some cool elements in this one. This is not really doing it because, like I said, ours needs to have like a preview. And then when you open the tab, it's like it expands on it and gives you a deeper look into it. So like this one could be a step in the right direction. And this is one where like we're probably going to have to break this out. All right, so I'm gonna take this and actually I'll shrink this point down. And we'll just take a single. Okay. And we're going to you know, water, sagging floors, and differential settlement. I think we could separate those up because wood rot and floor joist failure and termite damage is more dramatic. So we might actually have two of these sections back to back, standing water. This is where the creative work actually happens. And so right now, I'm like really racking my brain. What's going on is internal work here. And this is part of why I want to find a really good visual example. And maybe um, tab design is not what I'm looking for. But okay, like even for instance, like this why choose us thing, right? If you did this and we did this, the only problem is there's six of them. But I guess if we just made these a little bit bigger and we put six of them, and it gives you like a snapshot into it, and then when you hover it, it expands it to fill this whole space, is kind of what I'm seeing. So this also could work. Six of these, and when you hover one or you click one, it expands and fills a whole space. So
Oh.
let's use this as, these are actually just fine examples. So we'll use this as an example, even though it's super blurry. We'll kind of use it as a template.
I actually use that as a reference as well.
This literally this.
The second one and below that.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So this is like this will be like the exploded out tab. Okay.
Mhm.
And because of that, I'm going to explode this content out even more. And this is where like I would use the visuals. Standing water. Water getting in through the soil, through foundation walls, through pore drainage. This is three great visuals. You can treat each one of these as its own page, in a sense. Like a page in like
Mhm.
a trifold brochure or something like that. But when it comes to this part, right, and that's actually the page itself, so I need to do this one more time. This is going to become its own thing. I don't care that it's red. I'll survive. So if we do this, oh, I forgot I did that. Okay. If we do this, like I'm going to literally just create it right on top because it's going to be icons, right?
Mhm.
Button, title, the front, right? And like a little bit of text, a little text. Okay, but because there's six of them, actually I want this to be a little bigger, like wider, and then this is too big, a little bit bigger, and then here we can just put a little preview of this text. I can get rid of this now. Oh, right, we also want to go like this. So this background. All right. Oh, it doesn't matter because it's it is in the back. There's no fill here.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm just tripping. Wood rot. And actually, I need to copy this one. So let me get this one dialed in. This, I'll go like this, like that. And now you can see that it's in front. Standing water. Um, Water gets in and does damage. Whoops. Doesn't look bad, but that's where the problem starts. So you get a little bit of text, and then you get a button. And the button says how to identify. And all the buttons say that. Okay. And now you've got
Oh.
this. Now you have to tell Mac when you click this, this button needs to now expand to look like this. And then when you, or like when you hover this, it needs to expand to look like this. And when you hover to this, that this needs to, for this, sorry, I gotta slow down. When you hover over how to identify it, or when you click on how to identify it, this needs to expand to show the standing water section. When
Mm-hmm.
you click on any other of the other ones, it needs to replace this with the wood rot one, for instance.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, beyond that, close. It's probably even better when you hover them, it gives some kind of preview. It shows some kind of effect that like it starts to expand this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like instead of saying how to identify, it replaces that with click to expand, right? So we can go like this. Okay. So this turns, when you hover over this, it turns into this, and it shows like this section just expands a little bit, like it buffs out and it shows another color because this is also going to have some different color. So like this will start to show what's going on there. Okay.
Mm.
And now it's like it's an interactive element. So like
Yeah.
um example,
It's
interactive
interesting.
tab widget website. Rest tabs, websites, interactive tab widget. Sure. Yeah, thanks. Nobody cares. So like you see when you hover this, this illuminates. It's kind of a similar concept.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is another thing that we could add to it is like dots. And that could be another way that you do it. You just put the 3 things here or the 6 things here, and you scroll through them, and then it changes how it is here.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Uh-huh.
Now this one has like a that right there is helpful. How you can see that the thing slides. That's
Mm-hmm.
another good visual aid that I'm talking about so that people can see. And then another thing I notice is like, okay, it has that sliding situation. These are not perfect, but they're not bad. This is another great way to do it. Like the shadow shows that this one's selected. And if you select another one, because you get a progress bar here, you got a shadow here, and that's what I'm talking about, is that you have 2 ways to showcase something's going on. Those ones aren't, this one's not perfect, but those are some good examples. Now,
Yeah.
let's see, do we got any good ones? This is also really cool because it does it on its own. If you're not hovered, it will move it on its own. So we found a place now that we've done this digging, and this is why I like suggest to you to go farther. Because like when until you find it, you need to keep looking basically. And so we've now found, let's see, this one's not a great, this one's not doing it for me. I don't know what it's trying to show me here. Tabs into a drop-down menu on mobile stuff. No. For me, I'm expecting it's going to show, like, when I look at the preview, I think I know what to expect. This one's kind of cool. It's clear what the intention is in the design.
Yeah.
And so these are like, even if it's not what you want exactly, you can use it to help illustrate what you're going for. But I believe out there, the real thing that you want is there. That being said, like we found a few examples that were pretty good. Like this one's cool, how it rotates on its own. Um, some of the ones over there were pretty good. Like I really like the progress bar and I like this as well. I like the dots and I like the progress bar, that thing.
Mhm.
And ultimately this one I think was the best one because there's a way to show that it's highlighted. There's a way to show the section. So you could easily see, actually, like this is a perfectly good example. You could just use this as an example, and we could have the 6 things here, right?
Mhm.
And then over here, you have them broken down.
Yeah.
Like for me, great. And once you have one of these, Lorraine, can you picture using this all over the website?
Yes.
Right. And that's the point is that when we do one of these pages well, we create a design language and reusable features that we can use in other places. So for me, even though my vision here is different,
Mhm.
it's the same because you've got the icon, you've got the notes, you've got a way to
Mhm.
identify what is highlighted, and
Uh-huh.
you've got a section to lay out for that piece. Okay?
Mhm. Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on because I think you got everything you need out of this one.
Yeah.
And like you, this is enough. Let's put it that way. Now, we've got some more sections, and I know we've already been going for what, hour and a half, almost 2 hours now.
I think.
Yeah, you know me. When I get into work mode, I'm working. So, why crawl space structural damage doesn't fix itself? The conditions that cause this don't go away. This is where it gets dramatic. The clay
Mhm.
soil outside your foundation is still holding moisture against it. Now, I'm tempted right now, Lorraine. I got to be honest. I'm tempted right now, and we're going to engage that temptation. It's not a bad thing, so don't worry. I
Okay.
am going to create a new project over here, and I'm going to literally, we're going to let Love Art help. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm going to give it some content. Give it that also. Screenshot of this. Screenshot of this. Really to I don't want to get rid of all that necessarily. Now, we've also got already the brand kit for my guys in here. And we're
Mhm.
going to drop in the, I'll just drop in the whole thing. Because this can work one page at a time. And it will. It will do a bunch of stuff. Now, actually, I'm going to do this as like a text file or something. Oh, that's not what I want to. Dish. Unsupported file. Okay, there goes that idea. Okay. And then we will also do like 4. Like or computer, all these tabs. Okay, I'm gonna do some audio recording. So give me a second. Okay, so I've given you a couple screenshots of my beginning of like wireframing this content, and I am going to drop the content itself for this page. Now, you know the brand style, the brand guidelines, you know the fonts and everything, and you have expertise when it comes to page layout. We are inspired by magazine layouts, especially like aesthetically pleasing ones, but of course it needs to align with the brand style. Now, the intent for this page is that the visitor can easily identify structural problems in their crawl space. That's what the content is all about. And so everything in this page should be doing work to help make that possible, to help make it easier. So I want to see your like first strike at laying this content out on a page. And then after that, we'll go back and forth through the sections if I want to get more of your input or insight into how we should do it. But first, I want to start, as always, with alignment on if we're seeing things eye to eye. So put it back in your own words so I can ensure that we're aligned. Here's the concept. Yeah. Now, I just did text to speech over here, so I'll drop that in. There we go. Okay. Actually, I'm going to put this last. Just put a bunch of space between. Now, this will take time. It might take 5 minutes or something, but we have plenty of work that we can do. But when we come back, okay, right, it's just doing text stuff for now. And probably will only take a minute or two then. But when we come back, it's going to give us a bunch of great suggestions that we can work with, I promise you. Like, it's going to give us like visual style that's going to help
Mhm.
us steer it a bit and then hand over to Mac like, hey, this is like visually how it should work, or like find your inspiration from these things. This is how it fits the brand itself.
Mhm.
Why crawl space structural damage doesn't fix itself. The conditions that cause this don't go away. The clay soil foundation is still holding moisture against it. The humidity that rolls across central Illinois is still pushing vapor. The drainage problem that left water 5 years ago is still there. And as you know, like this has the potential to visualize, right? You really want to visualize this. Again, I'll probably just be lazy here and go left, right, because you have an opportunity to do that, not in a bad way. Like, I'm not saying it's a terrible thing to do. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I have a better idea where, um, in my mind, I'm seeing you want to pull these sentences out and just like over here, do something visually to represent it. So again, and part of what we're going to get here is see wireframes, your wireframe direction, core challenge, 6 inch max. Okay, this one is cool. It says like the big problem is this. It's those 6 things. Okay.
Mhm.
Now I'll use this snipping tool. Okay, so you identify the core challenge, making the 6 interconnected problems scannable. And the way I'm seeing it is something like the image I attached. But instead of using the shadow to show which one's selected and shadow to show, okay, I better actually demonstrate that as well. And the shadow to show which one is highlighted or scrolled over. And instead of using the progress bar to show which one is selected, I want examples that better fit our branding and the style that's cohesive. You saw my sketch layout for how I'm suggesting that we handle those 6 things, where we have like an icon and a little summary, and then the content is broken out. And the things that I gave you a screenshot of are a good way to kind of showcase how something like that could work. I think you're getting my drift. So share with me what you're thinking. Are you committed to that interaction? Exactly, exactly. A scrolling editorial reveal. Scrolling reveal can also work or can be integrated into this same style of design. We are both focused on solving the same challenge. Okay, let's see what we got. Breathing room, grids, pull quotes. 6 problems need to feel like a system, not a list. Visual cues that help homeowners self-diagnose. Trust building through transparency, not fear tactics. Exactly. I see what you're showing. Card-based UI pattern, visual indicator for selection state. Take this interaction model and make it feel like our brand. Exactly. For the 6 icons, are you thinking literal illustrations, abstract symbolic marks? Scroll reveal. Do you want the timeline to build as you scroll? You want all 6 visible in the timeline highlights the one in view. I want all 6 visible. You can use whatever you think fits the design best. Illustrations or marks. Your sketch felt more vertical, but the reference you shared is horizontal. And you can choose horizontal or vertical based on what you think the content calls for and serves the purpose best. Give it a shot. All right, now it's going to take some time, but same idea here. We want to just use something like this, but how can we find examples for that? I gotta admit, Lorraine, at this point, I'm getting fatigue. You know, like
Yeah.
this. This is fine. These are also fine. You've got a couple examples right here. Something like this, something like this.
Mhm.
You've got it again. I mean, it's ultimately the same thing, but instead of here, you have the image on top, you have the text. And the other ones, you have the, I guess it was the same way. You could have the text on top, the image on the bottom. All these, granted, we're on like product pages right now, but here you go. You've got another examples, examples. Here's another one. And then at this point, it comes down to having a design language that's cohesive. And that's part of why I want to use Love Art to give some design language style that's cohesive that we can reapply. But at this point, we've gotten to labels. These are labels. So let's see. Website, content, layout, design, ideas, all that's fine. Wireframing, magazines. So we've got again. Basically, they're saying like, okay, there's only like a few ways that people do this. And it's true. And that's where the design language really is important. Now, these cards, this is something we haven't really employed, where you use the image and then you use text and then you use the image. And it's broken up in like even like this. And then you've got also like the scrolling stuff, which is kind of cool. This is a nightmare, I think. Images, video, products, but it's just like sliders and stuff. Listen, we made a lot of headway on this. I know for sure.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to push through, and the other part of me says it's better to come back after. But let's let Love Art do its thing and see what we get out of it. You can see 2 minutes, so we should have like our first peek at it. it's also funny, like it does take a long time. It does take maybe not a week, but like a few hours for sure.
Mhm.
Especially when I'm breaking it down, I'm giving them insight. So far, Lorraine, you got any questions or takeaways?
Um, so far the only takeaways that I had was um the part where you showed me how to do the, what's the term again? When you hover your mouse, then a window will pop out.
Okay,
Because I
sure.
haven't really, yeah, I haven't really thought of doing that suggestion. And yeah, it's interesting. I think you can do a lot of those on the pages or in the contents,
Yeah.
because there are a lot of content on these money keywords or these top level contents that has content, I mean opportunity to design it like that. So yeah.
Now, how much like web browsing have you done? I know you spend a lot of time on the internet.
Uh,
Have you like
um
seen these things?
yeah, I have, but I haven't really thought of using them
Uh-huh.
on the, yeah.
And so that's like that's always my challenge to you. It's like, hey, take advantage of your experience, right? It's like the same thing when I talk about going out to a fancy dinner, and then that should change how you cook.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
learning from each example. Okay, the detailed breakout view of the failure change section showing how each problem expands and connects visually. Yeah, because right now it doesn't work for me because these arrows, they're not right.
Uh-huh.
Overall, I don't love what it's done for a lot of this stuff. The like colors and everything looks good, and like the CTAs looks good. I like the design language overall. I like this style of like taping a photo on. That's cool. We could use that all over. It has a good cohesive design language, and that's what I'm always talking about when it comes to this tool.
Mhm.
But it's missing a whole bunch of stuff. Now, granted, you know me. When I go and pull this video, I will pull a transcript. And when I get the transcript, I can work with AI to pull all the important points out. And then I can use those to create more powerful prompts, right? So that it's looking at it the same way that I am, so that we build a bunch of context before we have it do anything.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm kind of just looking for inspiration. And one of the things that we can do is, and we are going to give this another session, Lorraine, because we came a long way, right? We came from just content to now having a vision.
Yeah.
And now we have to go from that to bringing the vision to life. Because this is not something that you rush. We want to nail this. We want to knock this out of the park. Because once one of these is done well, like I keep saying, it's going to define the standard for the whole website.
Yeah. For the next ones.
And so we won't rush it, you know? Even if I have to spend $100 on credits for this tool, this could totally revolutionize how we put this website together.
Yeah.
And again, these guys. Okay, this is cool. It expands like this, and it even says, okay, each one feeds the next. Now, because of that, we need to fix the order. But look, this is so good,
Yeah.
right? Like you get
Uh-huh.
the fonts, you get the layout, you got an illustration, etc. And you could make this work for all of these.
Yep.
right? And look, so it gets the point of what I told you in the call as well is you give the name and you give a little subtext, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so granted, there's some issues that needs correcting, but that's why we have our job. That's why we do our job. That you can't expect that
Yeah.
everybody get everything right, but it's a huge help.
Uh-huh.
Like this looks good, and this is really something like we could work with, even if we don't do exactly this. Like this is like really high quality. And I'm not saying it's done again, but can you visualize bridging the gap between this and the finished product and how it's going to make it that much better?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to say 2 hours is enough of a session.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can get used to doing stuff like this on a regular basis where I'm going to keep taking you on and I'm going to go through stuff with you. And I'm also going to be doing it on my own, as you know. So,
Mm.
um, I think this was fantastic. I think this probably helped you a
Yeah, it
lot.
was fun.
Okay, good.
I
I'm
had a
glad.
lot of suggestions. I mean, I have taken notes of
Good.
a lot of interesting. Yeah.
And again, the real, you know, Lorraine, like the thing I'm always trying to coach you on is how we approach these problems in a healthy way, in an organized way, in a way that makes sense,
Mhm.
right? Because I don't have all the answers, but I know if I keep working at the task in front of me, I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
But it's like we say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You've got to do things in order, and things take time. When it's a massive task, you have to accept it's going to take time. Now,
Mhm.
if anybody ever watches this, they're probably going to change from, oh, I thought this was an easy task to, well, there's a lot that goes into this.
Mhm.
And I think that's the point of all this content is that you might think laying out a website is just simple and easy. And it is if you're lazy and you don't care about the finished product. But if you
Yeah.
want to really do good work, it takes serious effort. And it takes a lot of expertise. It takes a lot of refinement and
A lot of
standards and
good
all this
things.
stuff. And this is just the beginning because we still have to finish what we started and get it to Mac. Then Mac has to lay it out. Then we have to quality check it. All this, like, there's a lot more going back and forth for this one
Yeah.
page. But when this is done, it's really going to set the foundation for a really good website.
Yep.
So it's exciting. I'm having fun. Even just this, like where we went with this, is really cool. So
Yeah.
I'm stoked to finish this, and hopefully we'll do that tomorrow.
Yay.
Okay, buddy?
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, David. I
There you
learned a
go,
lot.
buddy. I'm glad. I'm glad. Bye.